being a South African is so many of the different qualities that I can relate to. I think the first quality is resilient. I think we're an incredibly resilient nation in terms of what we have all gone through, and I think most people, in terms of their story of their life, of South Africans have had to show resilience at some point. I think we are a humble nation, and I think that's a characteristic that I strive for, is to make sure you're always humble. I think we're a friendly nation, and try always to be friendly, very open-minded, and probably the last one is South Africans know how to make a plan, and more problem solving and making sure you're solution driven. So my journey to SA Taxi is that I entered as a consultant. So we were doing a project to try and woo a big funder, OPEC, and we were brought in as a consulting firm to help just almost position SA Taxi. So it was an incredible insight into the company before I started working here, because I got to chat to the majority of the exco and really get a good a high level understanding of SA Taxi, how the business worked, and just really what its value proposition was as a business. My first day was quite mixed, because I'd obviously been working here as a consultant, so I knew everything. But I think it was definitely, it showed the culture, because it was incredibly welcoming. There were so many people that helped let you use their employee card to buy a coffee, and just really took you under your wing and explained a whole lot of different parts of the business. But yeah, my first day always I think was very overwhelming. So my drive probably comes from two different sources. So I would say it comes from the people around me, and if I think about all the different teams that I've worked in at SA Taxi, there's just this level of performance that you always want to be a part of. So if I just think of every single team, everyone's striving to improve the business. So there's just this great forward momentum of let's make SA Taxi better. So I think it's the people around me that also inspire me and drive almost what we want to get done, or what I want to get done at SA Taxi. And then I think the second component is just how much opportunity as a business SA Taxi has been and always fortunate to have. So I think there are very few businesses out there that are growing or have the opportunity to grow at 20%. And almost as a business, we just are inundated with opportunity. It's what we say no to. And I think it's those types of, it's all these different opportunities, exciting new things that really drive me to try and see what we can do as a business. The key women or people who have inspired, or women that have inspired me in terms of a career, I think it's a lot of the unsung heroes. So I don't think it's your typical people who you see, or famous women like the Sheryl Sandbergs of the world. I think it's little components of people, and I think from a range of women, I take snippets of who they are. I think obviously key, it's always going to be your mum as a start, my sisters as well, and then I think they're just snippets of individuals. If I think through, there's a lot in terms of people that I work with that inspire me. If I think of Renica, there's so much that she gets done, in terms of being a mum, being a career-driven woman. There's lots of people that I take snippets from rather than one individual. Becoming a mother over the last year there have been a lot of different learnings and adjustments that you need to make. I think the business is incredibly understanding of family, no matter what gender you are. They always have that element. I think it's just always around how you change things around to work. So I think in my situation, I love to stay at the office until 8 p.m, which obviously isn't always a possibility when you've got someone waiting at home. So hours have just changed. Now I just start working earlier in the morning. So it's just really an adjustment around making sure everything that you still want to fit into your life, you can. And make sure that Terry and Laurie phone at 6:15 when you have to give him supper, so I can give that duty to my husband. If I think of challenging times at SA Taxi, it's incredible the support that you get from all aspects of the business. And it doesn't always come from the likely places. It comes from, you know, people just checking in on you, or people really getting involved and trying to help. And there's so many different things that come to mind if I think of system implementations, if I think of big projects, if I think of more recently payment relief. It's just incredible as like SA Taxi's culture is so visible in moments of stress, or in moments of difficulties, and just everyone is willing to help. And I think especially as a leadership team as well, I feel very fortunate to really feel very supported by all of the people around me. I think one of the most important lessons that I've learned as a woman in business is to stay true to who you are. So I think in any business that you work in, it's often male dominated, but that doesn't mean that you can't be true to who you are, and don't try to change to fit in, rather be who you are in the situation. I think the hurdles that are in place for many women in business is probably trying to do it all perfectly. Like, I think that is one thing that I have learned, is that if you do want to like prioritize, or if you do want to have a career, there are things that you won't be able to necessarily do perfectly. So for example, I don't cook at all, and I think my family have all learned to love a ready cooked meal or takeaways. But you can't do it all perfectly. So some things you've got to be imperfect in some ways, and you've got to embrace that, because there's not enough hours in a day to get it all right. So you've got to choose the priorities and choose the things that really matter. To empower other women, I think we as female leaders need to instill a value of confidence in females' ability, and as I said, to make sure that you lead in your way. So I think it's to make sure that like women understand what opportunities are out there, and how to grow as a leader, and what skills are required, and then also to understand to do it in their own way, and that to do it in their way doesn't have to look at how a male counterpart or another female counterpart may do it. It will be their own touch on leadership.